My friends, how are you? It is absolutely fantastic to see you for yet another video. And we got some wild stuff obviously going on in America right now. How you like that yesterday with the Epstein files vote? I put out my video before the vote happened, and I don't think my prediction was any more bold than anyone else's when I said that we were going to see a lot of Republicans vote to release those Epstein files, and we sure did, my friends, as only one Republican in the House voted against that bill. And somebody needs to check that man's hard drive. Could you imagine being the only Republican in the country that goes, no, maybe we shouldn't release those Epstein files? So that happened, and that was interesting. But what I did not predict, my friends, was what happened next. And that was when it went to the Senate, and Chuck Schumer, who gets on my damn nerves quite often, but every once in a while, you know, broken clocks and whatnot, Chuck Schumer walked out on the floor and asked for unanimous consent to pass that bill, to which he got his unanimous consent, meaning the bill passed fucking immediately and is headed off to Donald Trump's desk to sign, which is all very, very interesting. I did not see that part of it coming, and I'm sure Donald Trump is having an absolute temper tantrum over the entire thing. But Donald Trump, you need to calm down. Quiet, piggy. We're trying to get some work done around here, all right? So that is all very, very interesting, and the topic of the news today, all over the place, deservedly so, it should be. But today I want to focus on something just a little bit more lighthearted, if you will, and that is that Donald Trump yesterday went out and launched yet another attack on working class Americans. And look, in a normal country, in a normal America, if the President of the United States was attacking working class Americans and trying to make it so they made less money, that would be big news. That would be most Americans calling for their impeachment, and their party would be destroyed for the next election cycle. But in a country where the President of the United States is the center of a child sex trafficking ring, well, attacking the working class Americans isn't such a big deal. Now, is it? But there is something that caught my attention that I want to talk about. Yesterday, I briefly touched on it. Donald Trump was at a gathering of sorts for McDonald's franchisees, possibly executives, but definitely franchisees, where he was giving a speech, if that's what you want to call it. We got a lot of sound effects. The old bing, bing, bong, bong made a comeback. Yeah, old coherent Donald Trump once again talking about whatever he's talking about. And of course, in traditional Donald Trump fashion, any speech he's giving has to also have some of his grievances involved in that speech. And he did go on to air some of his grievances, which I talked about yesterday also, where he was mad at McDonald's because they don't put enough tartar sauce on their fillet of fish. And look, you can't really fault Donald Trump for this. We all knew about this. Anybody that paid attention to the Epstein emails that came out last week, knows how much Donald Trump loves having creamy white stuff in his mouth. And that's probably a low blow, but if it made you laugh, you owe me a subscription. Press the subscribe button. But I'm not going to kink shame Donald Trump for liking what he likes when it comes to other men. Look, I don't do that, but I am going to make fun of it just a little bit every once in a while. But Donald Trump was very upset about not enough tartar sauce on the fillet of fish. And for that alone, you really have to think of the nerve of this fucking guy right now. This fucking guy, Donald Trump, who has enriched himself by billions of dollars in this term alone, through crypto scams and through definitely other means, through the tariffs where he's pocketing the money. Donald Trump said that we can only have $2 for Christmas, while Donald Trump gets a golden ballroom built for him. Donald Trump gets a $400 million Qatari jet that we have to pay for the renovations to the tune of $1 billion. Also, while Donald Trump has threatened to cut off food funding to the American people, effectively trying to starve the American people so that he can get his way during the government shutdown, stands on stage and complains about the amount of tartar sauce that he is getting, my friends. Tartar sauce. Us Americans and Donald Trump live in two different worlds. I wish the rest of us could live in a world where the only thing we were worried about was tartar sauce. Really, I wish that's the kind of world we all lived in, but we all don't get to live the life of luxury that Donald Trump does. But you may be wondering what I mean by his attack on the American people, because it would be fucking silly of me to make a video where I complained about Donald Trump not liking the quantities of tartar sauce on his fillet of fish. That is not what we're here for today, my friends. What we are here for today is Donald Trump, during his speech, started talking to these McDonald's franchisees about the minimum wage in America. And just to be clear, the minimum wage is something like $7.25. Yeah, I should have looked it up, but I believe it's $7.25 an hour. And I don't know how long it's been $7.25 an hour, but for a long fucking time. Basically, the minimum wage has not kept up with the times at all. Which one of you out there honestly could say you could take a $7.25 an hour job and make it make any kind of fucking financial sense to you? None of us. Absolutely none of us. But anyways, Donald Trump, in his quest, I guess, to make the rich even richer in America, started lecturing these franchisees on the minimum wage and how they need to fight back. They need to get a hold of their Congress people and their senators and start making it very clear to these people that there is no way that the minimum wage can be raised in America. And I don't even know if that's a discussion. It goddamn should be, but I don't know of anyone that's actively trying to raise the minimum wage. So I don't know what Grandpa was on about exactly. Not my grandpa, someone's fucking grandpa. I ain't claiming that son of a bitch. But someone's grandpa is on and on about the minimum wage. Said that they need to fight against this to make sure that they keep their wages low, basically so that they can keep more money. And of course, he went on to talk about California also. I want to go back just a little bit. Here's the problem. When Donald Trump starts talking about stuff like this, what we're really up against is not necessarily Donald Trump and the politicians, but we are unfortunately up against a lot of working class Americans that are also in favor of other working class Americans making less money. I am not sure I've ever followed the logic on this. You guys have seen this before, right? I know it was a big deal quite a few years ago where McDonald's workers or fast food workers were trying to get $15 an hour. And you had every Cletus ass fucking hillbilly all over this country fucking losing their minds going, they don't deserve $15 an hour. They can never get my order right. All this bullshit. And it was quite a disgusting display, if I may say so. It was a bunch of working class people that are barely getting by paycheck to paycheck, licking the boots of billionaires to make sure that another working class person had it worse than them, because for some people in America, that's all they need. As long as somebody is living a worse life than them, they are happier than a pig in shit to see somebody else having a hard fucking time. Instead of realizing that it is the very wealthy in this country, the billionaires, that are cutting corners every opportunity they get, so to make sure that we get a smaller piece of the pie, they just want to see another working class American have a harder life than them. And that is the worst part about this entire fucking thing. I 100% believe that the fast food workers deserve $15 an hour. It's a hard job. I did it when I was younger, like in my teens. No way I could do it now. Hell no. My back starts hurting when I just start thinking about doing physical labor. Just tell me where the cruise control's at on this bitch and I'll go to work. But no, hell no. That's hard work of fast food. Walking on those hard floors all day, standing up. You're not allowed to sit. You're lifting shit all fucking day. You're moving fast because you got to make your times on everything. It's a hard job. It really fucking is. The fuck is wrong with these people? But Donald Trump started talking about California. And how California is making it so that the poor billionaires can no longer make a fucking living, my friends, because they're trying to make it so that the employees in California get to make $20 an hour. That's what we're talking about. From potentially one of the world's richest men who has grifted the entire fucking country, who has robbed us blind, has said that $20 an hour is too much money for the American people. Well, that is quite fucking shocking, isn't it? That's the same president that we're supposed to believe, as working class Americans, is making America great again. He's gonna lower our prices by increasing our prices through tariffs. I don't fucking know. You got me on that one. I don't even have an answer to that. But he has caused many Americans to lose their jobs just in this term, caused many small businesses to close. And look, like it or not, to all the hillbilly truckers out there that are telling me I'm wrong about what's going on in trucking is a shit show right now because of Donald Trump's fucking trade wars, Donald Trump's poor economic policy. That's all there is to it. But the point is, he's telling you, the American people, $20 an hour is too much money. And I gotta be honest with you too. Of course, Donald Trump always goes to the villain California. I am sick to fucking death of so many American people acting like the state of California is some sort of villain in this entire fucking story. I am not a California resident, but I am smart enough to understand how big California is to the entire fucking country. I think the world's 4th largest economy, and it's just one state in America. If not for the revenue that California generated, states like Alabama and Mississippi and Louisiana, probably Nebraska and Kansas, and all these states would go fucking bankrupt, and that's a fact. But the reason we are all states that are the United States is that the idea is that we're all supposed to fucking work together. And I think it is a ballsy move from the people in these red states, not my blue dots out there. I love you very much. But all these motherfuckers in these red states that are constantly bitching about California, what a bold move to bite the hand that feeds you every chance you get. And I don't know if it's possible, and I don't want to harm the American people, but just once, like, is it possible for California to just shut off the funding for a little while, and the American people in Mississippi or Alabama could fill it and go, oh shit, California, I'm sorry, I apologize for all the bullshit I say, and then they could shut the fuck up for the rest of their lives about what a villain California is. It doesn't make a bit of goddamn sense to me. Yes, California is a high cost of living state. Absolutely it is. And if you want to be an employer in a high cost of living state, you don't get to bitch because your employees want to make a living too. You that drives me nuts. I almost lost it right there, right in front of you guys. There'd be shit flying all over this truck, motherfucker, and I'm hitting stuff. That didn't look very intimidating, motherfucker, right? That's not very scary, but I about lost it right in front of you guys. It is not too much to ask to show up to your job and make a living doing your fucking job, all right? And look, like I said, I'm not a resident of California, but I am a resident of Colorado. And I don't know what other states are like as far as incomes go. I'm sure there's a very wide spectrum. But in Colorado, if somebody offered you a $20 an hour job, 40 hours a week, it's almost not even worth getting out of bed for that. Because you know you got a job and you know you've got an income coming in, but we're talking $20 an hour. That's something like $41,000 a year if you worked a 40-hour week. That's not enough to live on. It's not enough to survive on, period. So you would have an income coming in where you could like not even live paycheck to paycheck, but you would need to have roommates, or you would need to have a whole number of things, and you would immediately be looking for another job, right? You'd be another job that's going to pay you more than that $20 an hour. So if that's how it is in Colorado, I can only imagine that in California, $20 an hour doesn't make a bit of fucking sense to take that job at all. But the point I'm making with this video, I know I have a tendency to kind of fly off the handle, sometimes go off the rails, and really forget what the fuck I'm talking about. But we have a president of the United States, my friends, that did just that yesterday. He talked about how the American people are making too much money, and he talked to very wealthy people in America about how they can fight back excuse me, against the government and push back and get the House and the Senate to vote in their favor to forever keep the wages low for the American people. And I am starting to believe that maybe, just maybe, Donald Trump is not the champion of the working class that these fucking dorks in red hats are trying to convince us that he is. With that said, I gotta get back to work. They don't pay me to stand around here looking cute now, do they? Love you guys. Bye now.